insisted that the gods be placated. Smith himself had developed a fascination with the Hindu religion through constant contact with the Indian workers.
Saya dengar tok-tok dulu dia orang cerita dia nak bina Kellie Castle ni, dia ambil orang dari orang India dari nama membinakan Kellie Castle. Dia orang masa tengah bina Kellie Castle tu dia kena sakit teruk demam.
The scared workers implored William to build a temple to the deity Miriaman, a gesture they said would help stop the sickness.
Dia dah siap kerja tokong ni, pekerja pun dah selamat. Dia sambung balik, dia buat Kellie Castle ni sudah okey balik sekarang.
By 1920, the pandemic had subsided. Convinced the temple's construction had protected them from the disease, the surviving Indian labourers carved a stone effigy of Kellie Smith amongst the deities on the roof of the temple.
This is a good example of a multifoil motif from the Mughal architecture, but used in a triangle opening, unusually, because the multifoil usually appears in a half round or a horseshoe arch. These bricks are cantilevered out to form the springing of the arch. These are fine examples of the Mughal horseshoe arch with a timber frame fitted into the opening, used in doorways and windows throughout the castle.
Eventually, work started on the first floor. The 4 bedrooms were connected by a cloistered balcony and featured secret passageways from the children's bedrooms to the ground floor. The walls featured elegant and ornate neoclassical friezes designed to frame works of art. Finishing of the rear facade had begun, and a 4-storey tower designed to house a hydraulic lift was taking shape. And as he set sail in 1926 to collect the lift shaft, the castle was nearing completion. The brickworks were almost finished, and the plastering was well advanced. His dream of building a grand castle in an exotic land was almost realised. But alas, just as the end was in sight, William contracted pneumonia en route back to Malaya and died in Lisbon, Portugal, at the age of 56.
Agnes didn't want to come back to Malaya anymore. She sold the remaining part of the estate to Quinta Callas estate. And in fact, the castle was sold along with the estate, but the new management was not interested in a half-completed castle, so they neglected it and left it to the elements.
Did William really build his castle for his beloved wife Agnes, as the legend tells? Or was he driven by a desperate desire to climb the social ranks and prove his detractors wrong? Did love build the castle walls? Or was it one man's ego and pride? For over 80 years, the castle has held a colourful place in the folklore of the Batu Gajah community. It seems everyone has a story to tell about the iconic ruins.
I remember coming here as a kid in the 1950s. I would come here with my friends. We would cycle here, park our bicycles across the river or on our side of the river. Somebody would swim across with a rope, and then we all cross over one by one. This place was different then. The whole place was covered with trees. The castle was overgrown with creepers. We would have a great time running around in the rooms, the corridors, on the rooftop. It was great fun.
Over time, the idea grew that it was actually haunted. People were afraid to go there, and actually, when people went there, they would leave after dark. It was so dark there. It was pitch black, in fact, and nobody dared to stay around, and so the legend just grew.
As boys, we wanted to explore the tunnel, which started from the cellar to the temple. It was so dark, and we were scared of snakes, and it was flooded. Who would dare to go in? So we left it as that. We never dared to venture inside. This place is full of ghostly stories. I personally know of a lady who will come here every Friday night to pray, maybe to communicate with the spirits, and hope to get some numbers. And the next morning, Saturday morning, the taxi driver will come and pick her up. She will go home and hope to strike it rich by buying those numbers. But so far, I've not heard of her striking rich.
But some people vouch that they did see apparitions at night, So it may be true. There might be some truth to it, I'm not sure.
This was not only an exciting place to visit, but also a dangerous place. There used to be crocodiles in the river. And when we cross, we have to look out for crocodiles. Sometimes you see a log coming by, please be careful. And we do come here for fishing. And when we see the reeds moving, all of us will run. You don't want to be swallowed up by the crocodiles.
While the 3D team has been busy building the castle from Chen's designs, Dr. Ho has made a breakthrough that will turn the entire enterprise on its head. By sheer luck, a directly descended relative of William's visited the castle, providing our researchers with a valuable link to the family. A few phone calls and some fossicking in dusty English attics uncovered photographs thought to have been lost some time ago.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yes.
Now it answers all our questions about where was located the main entrance,
That's right.
That's why I've always suspected that the driveway would lead up to a porte cochere.
Okay, it's there.
Yeah, there it is. It answers all our questions now about the main entrance, how it was used.
Yes.
And this is the plaster work, isn't it?
That's right.
That was meant to be plastered.
Yes.
You see, and then they would have gone over it with color wash, most likely a lime wash in ochre, which is a very standard color used in those days. And then the trim again, the plaster trim would be highlighted in white.
The photographs have helped illuminate a wholly remarkable structure and given a far greater understanding of William's complete vision.
Kellie Smith was a total grasp of the motifs, and the language of the Mughal architecture, even though he was just a layman and not a professional architect.
Yes.
I'll take my hat off him.
Mr. Chen, would it be a good idea if the authorities now were to plaster the uncompleted Kellie Castle so that it looks?
There would be
I think
there would be two schools of thought.
Okay.
One would say, historically, it was left like this. You should leave it like this. Another school would say, look, we have evidence.
We have all the evidence.
We have
right.
all the evidence of how he would have finished the building.
That's
so
right.
why not we do it?
That's right.
We can use this now to correct all our reconstruction, as it were.
That's
this
right.
will give us the true house and the features.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which means that a lot of the previous work was wasted. Quite a lot. I wish we had seen this much earlier.
That's right. But it's not too late.
These are fantastic photographs.
Yes.
Now, for the first time, William Kellie Smith's dream comes to life. The two buildings were to be connected to form a single compound, featuring an open rectangular courtyard in the centre. The completed plasterwork unifying Palace House with the rest of the castle. It was to be a truly imposing structure, with a final height of over 70 feet to the top of the lift shaft dome. The domes themselves would most likely have been cast in copper, surrounded by an ornate balustrade. A pinnacled wall would have extended all the way around the rooftop to allow the Kellie Smiths to conduct parties with a glorious view of the Kinta Valley. Cloistered verandas encircled the structure, providing protection from the tropical heat. And a porte-cochere provided shelter for guests arriving during the monsoon season. Fully completed, there is no doubt that Kellie's castle would have drawn the respect and envy of all Kellie's contemporaries and stand as a unique statement of a man's eccentric vision. A grand castle estate rising out from the jungle of Malaya. The story of Kellie's castle is far from over. As an attraction for visitors, it's a quirky landmark for the state's tourism industry. There's even been talk of restoring the building to its former glory and convert it into a boutique hotel and restaurant complex.
We have no doubt that we have a priceless architectural gem which combines the styles from both East and West. We have therefore to protect, maintain, and conserve this piece of architectural heritage for future generations to come.
Kellie Smith was a man of vision. From humble rural origins, he stamped his mark on the history of a far-flung and exotic land. Ambitious and proud, industrious, and perhaps a little vain, William struggled through adversity and derision to build a stirring and idiosyncratic monument in the jungle.
William Kellie Smith was a prime example of the early colonial pioneers who came to this country towards the end of the 19th century. Eventually, he was to become one of the most influential planters here in Bargaja, Perak.
Although his tragic and sudden death prevented him from fully realizing his vision, his legacy lives on in this impressive structure. Much of the truth about his life and work has been lost down the decades since, and the line between truth and myth has been blurred. Whatever the truth, tales of apparitions wandering the castle grounds will no doubt continue to be told, adding to the castle's story. And if you're very lucky, while visiting the castle on a clear, moonless night, you might just catch a glimpse of the Scottish planter as he surveys his estate from the window of the castle.